Last video, I took you through the top part of my list as I rank the vintage Star Wars playsets. And now we get to the top 10. I was dreading making this list, but actually it's the most fun I've had making videos. Will your favorites make the top 5? Let's go. This is the top 10, so if you missed out on last video, go ahead and watch that before you watch this video. There's a link in the description of this video and also a link in the corner. And please give this video a like. It helps out my channel and it helps other people find this video. So thanks. And now let's get to the top 10. Making the top 10, it's the Hoth Ice Planet adventure set from 1980. There is a lot to unpack here. From the base that has a cave, the action lever feature, and a radar dish, then the cardboard backdrop with the cardboard AT-AT and the elevator feature. Versions of this did include an Imperial Stormtrooper in Hoth battle gear if you had the special offer box. Was it in the movie? Heck yes. This combined shots in the opening battle scene on Hoth. And the playability. This is one of the funnest playsets to engage with, and with all the features, it does capture the imagination. I can imagine 6-year-old Padawan Joey having so much fun with this. For that, it gets 5 POPs. And the durability. The plastic base, the radar dish, even the cardboard backdrop are surprisingly durable. But because it is a cardboard backdrop set, this will not withstand outdoor play. 3 POPs for that. And the collectability factor. Even though I consider this essential for a complete playset run, it is on the forgettable spectrum when it comes to classic playsets. So this gets a 3 POP. And the rarity. This one is hard to find complete and in great shape, but it's not impossible with strong hunting. This gets a 3 POP. The price. To get this complete in used condition with paperwork and in a decent box, it cost me $200 to get. Not a nosebleed at all. And to find one in unused condition can run you a little past $1,000 for sure. So this will get a 3 POP score. The nostalgia factor. Very low for this one, as I did not know that this existed as a kid. 1 POP score. So that gives the Hoth Ice Planet adventure set a score of 18 POPs. And at number 9, Darth Vader Star Destroyer from 1980. One of the most polarizing playsets in the vintage Kenner line. People either love it or really hate it. I think it's one of the weirdest playsets for sure, with a very unappealing design aesthetic. That being said, it does have a ton of play areas to explore, and that did give this a saving grace. Was it in the movie? Yes, this does blend a number of shots into this playset. And the playability. Even though it does look ugly, the 6-year-old in me, which, by the way, used to use the styrofoam inserts from the appliances and use those as playsets. Yeah, the 6-year-old version of me would have loved this playset. 5 POP score because this also comes with a handle, so you can double this playset as a ship. And the durability. With the entire set being made of hard plastic, you would expect this score to be high, but all the pieces that this comes with would have gotten lost with heavy play. Plus, you had to have batteries to make this work. So this gets a 3 POP score. Collectability. Because this set is so polarizing, I think that there's a lean towards the average collector actually wanting this in their collection. And for that, this gets a 3 POP score. The rarity. This set is often found in the wild, but because of the parts, you rarely find it in complete and working order, especially when this came with a working light. This gets a 4 POP for that. And the price. You can find complete loose examples for a few $100s. The version I got came complete with unused content with a gorgeous box and all the inserts and paperwork, and it cost me $1,000. Again, not nosebleed, but still a pretty price. A 4 POP score. And the nostalgia factor. I did see this at the store when I was a kid, but I remember thinking it was weird. So for that, it gets a 2 POP score. So overall, Darth Vader Star Destroyer gets a total score of 21 POP points. Number 8 is the Land of the Jawas action playset from 1979. The first playset to use this design process. And with the action lever feature and the cave in the base, the escape pod, and the sandcrawler backdrop that has a working elevator, this is one of the classic toys, even in its Palatoy counterpart. Was it in the movie? Yes, it combines a few pivotal scenes from Star Wars. The playability factor. With all the features, the 6-year-old Padawan would have had fun reenacting all the scenes from the movie. For that, 5 POPs. Durability. Even though this has a hard plastic base, plastic molded escape pod, and the heavy cardboard sandcrawler backdrop, this would have not held up in outdoor play. 3 POPs. Collectability. Since this is the first instance where this design was used, I feel like the collectability is very high for this set. 4 POPs. The rarity. This set is not hard to find. However, to get this in complete working condition with all the paperwork and inside the box, it is possible, but you have to do some hunting. 4 POPs. That brings us to price. Finding these in unused content status will run you past the $1,000 mark for sure. But I got one in used complete condition with the paperwork and in a nice box. It ran me $237.50, so not a high price at all. 3 POPs. And the nostalgia factor. I did see this toy as a kid both in store and at a friend's house and thought it was very cool. I never had one, but I always wanted one. 4 POPs. Total score for the Land of the Jawas action playset is 23 POPs. At number 7, the Creature Cantina action playset. I can hear the Cantina band in my head every time I play with this, and I know that the HasLab Cantina just got funded, so how can you deny the original with its working Western-style doors, bar area, alcove, and action lever feature? This is a classic. Was it in the movie? Yes, in one of the most famous scenes from the Star Wars movie. And the playability, even though it's a small-scale playset, the 6-year-old Joey would have had so much fun recreating the Cantina scenes. 4 POPs. The durability. This is a solid and well-built playset, and had it not been for the doors, which are really flimsy and often break, this would have scored higher. 4 POPs. The collectability. This one should be on every collector's list, even modern collectors, especially those who back the new Cantina. This was the original and will always be celebrated. 5 POPs. And the rarity. This is one of the easier playsets to get, but with a working door and a version that is with unused content, paperwork, and in a great box, now that gets harder. 4 POPs. The price. This playset isn't that expensive to get out in the wild, and I found one complete and in decent shape with the paperwork and a good box for $180. 3 POPs. The nostalgia factor. Even though I didn't have this as a kid, it was always one that I liked and even saw this being sold in comic book shops when I was in college. 3 POPs. And the total score for the Creature Cantina action playset is 23 POPs. At number 6, it's the Imperial attack base from 1980. One of the funnest playsets with so many play areas to focus on. Was it in the movie? No, but it added another playset to give your figures a good dogfight. The playability? Tons. And with all the interactive areas in this set and the action levers and buttons, the kid in me would have been in heaven and would have used this set over and over again, not only for Star Wars, but for Joe's as well. 5 POPs. The durability. This is one of the most well-built playsets in the line. The only point that gets taken off is that the parts would have got lost outside or with sticky-handed kids who walked away with a part or two. 4 POPs. Collectability. This is the only playset that I consider a non-essential playset if you are being a non-completionist simply for the fact that it wasn't from a scene in the Empire Strikes Back movie. Because nowhere did the Empire have a snow fort. So for that, this gets a 3 POP. Rarity. Since this playset is so durable, finding versions of this in the wild is pretty common, but naturally, the task gets harder when you want to find it in unused content status. 3 POPs. And the price. This was one of the most inexpensive sets that I got on this run, but it's also one that I got in the most mediocre condition. I did get this complete with the paperwork and an okay box, but not in an unused state. I paid $80, 1 POP. Nostalgia factor. I did see this in the store, and I had one friend who had this, so the kid in me would have loved this in my playroom, 4 POPs. And the total score for the Imperial attack base is 20 POPs. Welcome to the top 5. And starting off is the Jaba the Hut playset from 1983. This is one of the classic playsets from one of the best scenes in Return of the Jedi. And it comes with one of the best action figures in the line, Jabba himself. And yes, I consider this an action figure. It also comes with a Salacious Crumb action figure, the throne, the hookah accessory, and the working doors to the Rancor pit. Was it in the movie? Heck yes, all day long. Playability. Even though it's a really nice piece that would go into a larger diorama, yes, this Jabba set has a ton of playability, 5 POPs. Durability. The only pieces on this set that are delicate would be the clear plastic on the hookah and maybe the doors on the throne. But really, this playset lasts the test of time, even with hard play indoors or outdoors, 5 POPs. Collectability, the absolute highest. With all the Jabba playsets out there from Hasbro through the years, who wouldn't want to have the original in their collection? 5 POPs. Rarity. This playset is not rare at all. If you go to any vintage store, both online and brick and mortar, you're gonna find this in every condition possible. For rarity, 1 POP. And the price. This is one of the most affordable playsets that you can own even in the best of conditions. I got an unused content version with inserts, paperwork, and a great box for $275, 2 POPs for price. The nostalgia factor. This was the centerpiece of my childhood toy shelf, and I got many years of play with this set, 5 POPs. So the total score for the Jaba the Hut playset comes to 23 POPs. At number 4, the Droid Factory from 1979. In an age where kids' toys were about education and stimulating the engineering aspect of play, this one stood out in the Star Wars line for that. It was also the first to use this design template, with the base that contained all the parts to build your own droids with the help of a blueprint, the crane feature where the Jawas could raise and lower parts, and even an R2-D2 that you can build that came with his famous third leg. Was it in the movie? Well, kind of. It's what I always imagined the inside of the Sandcrawler to be. But technically, no, this was never shown in the movie. Playability. The playability is the most out of any playset in my opinion. With the droids that you can build with the blueprints, plus ones using your imagination, endless amounts of play. 5 POPs. Durability. Even though the parts are well made and would have not broken with me as a 6-year-old Padawan, I can see parts on this getting lost with the first amounts of play. For that, it gets a 3 score, even though I wanted it to be higher. Collectability. The collectability is super high on this playset, not only for the R2 that you could include in your action figure collection, but since this was the first to use this design, even in the Palatoy version, this is a must-have for your collection. 5 POPs. And the rarity. This set can be found in various states of condition, but to get this in complete and working condition is very hard, especially when you add getting this in an unused content state. And in a good box with all the paperwork, it gets extremely hard. 5 POPs. The price. This playset is not cheap to get in complete working shape, and buying parts for this on its own, it gets tedious and expensive. I got one in complete used condition with paperwork and a good box for $165. But I also got one with unused complete content with a great box for $1,250. So not extreme nosebleed prices, but you're definitely gonna pay more for mint in sealed boxes. 4 POPs for price. The nostalgia factor. This playset has a high nostalgia factor for me and every Gen X kid. 5 POPs. So that brings the Droid Factory to a 27 POP score. At the number 3 spot, it's the Dagobah Action Playset from 1981. a true classic. With its great design and play areas that offered awesome interaction, it really immersed children into serious play. Was it in the movie? Absolutely. It features scenes from The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi. Playability. There are several areas that make this fun. The battle area, the levitation area, Swamp Pit, and Yoda's house. Plus, this is one of the best display pieces that you want out on a shelf and not in a box. 5 POPs. Durability. There are only 2 factors that keep this from getting a perfect score: the very fragile swamp foam and the always missing silver plastic pieces for the levitation area. Other than that, this is a solid built set. 3 POPs. Collectability. No question, this is a super high on the must-have in any action figure collector's hands, no matter what line or what era. 5 POPs. And the rarity? Well, these are easily found in the wild in various conditions since it's so popular. The hardest parts to find, like I mentioned earlier, is the swamp with the original foam in great condition and the silver plastic pieces for the levitation area. 3 POPs. The price. This is a playset that is very affordable in any state because it was so mass-produced. I happened to get a great complete version with all the inserts, paperwork, and a good box for $300. Obviously, unused contents is going to raise that price to over $1,000. 3 POPs. The nostalgia factor. I saw this in a friend's room when I was a kid and always wanted it. In fact, this was one of the toys that I was most looking forward to on this collection run. 5 POPs. And that brings the Dagobah Action Playset to a 25 POP score. If you're liking my videos and really want to help me make these episodes go on, consider becoming a channel supporter on Patreon. You can try a membership out for free, or if you want to keep your support right here on YouTube, hit that join button. Memberships start at 99 cents, and your generous support helps me make these videos better and better. Now let's get to number 2. The Ewok Village Action Playset from 1983. One of the best sets to come out in Return of the Jedi. With all the play features on this, how could this not be at the top of this list? Was it in the movie? Heck yes, it was very much a part of Return of the Jedi. Plus, you can also say that you can use this for your Ewoks action figures from the cartoon series as well. Playability. This playset has so many areas. There's the swinging boulder, the hollow tree escape, Spitfire, elevator, the net, alcoves, and the throne. It also becomes the best display and centerpiece for your collection. 5 POPs. The durability. This one is solidly built, and it's really meant for outside play. There are so many parts to this that it does get overwhelming, and that's the negative to this set. But all have stood the test of time. 5 POPs. Collectability. Again, no matter what line of toys you collect or what era, this is a classic that must be in your collection. 5 POPs. The rarity. It's not rare to find this at all. In fact, it's one of the easiest ones to find, but it is very difficult to find these in complete and working order. The net is often gone, the strings are often not authentic, and the boulder is often missing. And to piece this together item by item, it's very tedious and very expensive. 4 POPs. That brings us to price. You can find these in different conditions for various prices, but in not relatively nosebleed amounts. I was able to get a complete used version with all the paperwork and the box for $320 and expect this to run past $1,000 to $2,000 to find versions with inserts and unused content. 4 POPs. The nostalgia factor. I really wanted this as a kid, and as an adult, when I finally got this, the 6-year-old version of me thanked me every day for it. 5 POPs. That brings the Ewok Village Action Playset to a total score of 28 POPs. And now, before I get to number 1, since I'm only doing the US Kenner releases on this list, I wanted to include a special mention and something that I think deserves to be on this list. So at number 1.5, let's give it up for the Palatoy Death Star from 1978. If you want to watch the complete history of this toy, I have a full video on this, but this has the most recognizable silhouette of any toy in history. Was it in the movie? This toy does the best job of any toy by depicting multiple scenes from the Death Star. Playability. With 3 levels of play and areas in each of them, this offers hours and hours of play over and over for countless years. Plus, it's the perfect display for your action figures. 5 POPs. Durability. Well, this is why this didn't get to the top spot. Even though it's made out of super thick cardboard that feels like particle board, this playset would fold under the elements outside and warp. 3 POPs. Collectability. If you are a serious vintage toy collector, this is a must-have in your collection. No matter what line or what era you collect, it's a major part of toy history, period. 5 POPs. Rarity. Because it is made of cardboard and because it was only made for certain countries and never offered in the United States, this does have a rare side to it. And to get this in unused shape with a pristine box, it makes it almost impossible to get. 5 POPs. That brings us to price. Because it's so hard to find with unused contents, I had to get one used, but complete and in a beautiful box. It cost me $1,750, but expect to pay way more for mint-in sealed box versions, or versions that have unused contents in mint-in boxes. 5 POPs. The nostalgia factor. Even though I never knew this existed as a kid, countless collectors from Australia, the UK, and Canada have told me that they either had one, wanted one, have one as an adult, or have this as a grail piece that they hope to have one day. And because of that, for nostalgia, this scores a very high 5 POPs. And the total score for the Palatoy Death Star is 28 POPs. Now we get to the number 1 spot. And please give this video a like if you're enjoying it so far and if you made it this far. And at number 1, it's the Death Star Space Station from 1978, a true classic from the late 70s toy era. Even seeing it in the toy aisles, both back in the late 70s and today when I go to toy conventions, it feels like seeing Castle Grayskull for the first time, or the G.I. Joe USS Flag. It just stayed in your memory because of how big it was and how colorful the box is. Was it in the movie? Yes, and it goes over several key areas from the Star Wars movie. Playability? Tons, and it even includes the Dianoga Trash Monster into this playset, making this one of the first exclusive action figures besides the Blue Snaggletooth. You have the laser turret, the elevator, the retracting bridge, and the rope, the detention level, and the trash compactor. 5 POPs. Durability. The only piece that sadly always deteriorates over time is the foam for the trash. And also, the locking mechanism for the turret is often broken, but it's easily replaceable. Still, in the wild, you're gonna find this mostly broken. Other than that, this playset is a tank, and not only can go outside, I've heard stories from collectors of how this was in their childhood bathtubs. 4 POPs. Collectability. Just like Castle Grayskull or the USS Flag, it's every vintage toy collector's dream, even modern collectors, to add this to their set. This playset, in my opinion, has the most collectability factor in toy history. 5 POPs. Rarity. You can find these in the wild pretty easy, but what's not easy is to find these complete, authentic, and in perfect working order. And getting this in unused condition with paperwork, inserts, and a great box, that is rare. Try to find this in a mint and sealed box, and now you're looking at a grail piece. 5 POPs. The price. I was able to find one in used complete shape with a decent box, paperwork, but no inserts for $200. But when I tried to find one with unused content, that was gonna run me a few $1,000s. Maybe one day I'm gonna upgrade to that, but for now, I'm happy with my version. 5 POPs. The nostalgia factor. The memories of seeing this toy towering over me in the toy stores has never left me. And even though I never had one when I was a kid, I wanted to collect this toy first on this run, and that's exactly what I did. So make sure to go back and watch that journey from episode 1 and go on the quest with me to complete the entire journey. 5 POP points for nostalgia. And the total score for the Death Star space station comes out to 29 Padawan proof of purchases. You can get the Padawan POP design at my merch shop right now. The link is in the description of this video. It really helps to support my channel. And on the next episode, I'm doing a video that a lot of you have requested. How much did I spend on this entire playset run? So to watch that episode or to watch a compilation of my playset rankings, click the videos on your screen now. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time.